All right, let's kick off Monday market update today with foreclosure data. Okay, real estate foreclosure data. So in Maricopa County, as we see nowadays, it has a rumor that the pending foreclosure are going up. Well, it's not a rumor, and in fact, we started in 2024, um, about 870. Okay, and at the end of the year it is about 1206. Now we have about 100 1300, right? As you see here, these are at the very bottom of um the foreclosure. Well, it's going up, as I told you, 870 going up to 1206, 1300, right? And we could reach, I mean, by estimate, we could reach 1500 to 1700 by the end of the year. Easy. Some of you may like freak out, right? Because you say, okay, the foreclosure number is going up. That's probably something wrong with the market. Now, uh, look at this. 2009, that is pre-COVID, okay? The number pending is about 50,000 pre-COVID, okay? Oh, I'm sorry, pre-crisis. And if you remember, 2009 is the real estate crisis year, right? So during that year, it is 50,000 plus to become the crisis, real estate crisis. So compared to 1500, even 1700, you know, these numbers are super low. All right. And then if you talk about like a normal number, it's actually around 1800. That's the pre-COVID. Okay. Pre-COVID is about 1800. So the foreclosure are truly rising. I understand that. But this is just still low compared to historical standards. And this trend signal a shift back to the market normal market, not a sign of crash. Okay, so that's number one for foreclosure. And here's another chart that we can look at this like this. Okay, in January we have about 870 here, and then go all the way to about 1700 estimate by the end of uh, December 2025. Okay, but it's very close, very low compared to the historical data. Okay, all right. Number two, buyer power is growing across the valley. Okay, so if we look at here, if we look at the comfort market index, okay, 14 cities is actually worse for the seller. Worse for the seller. Okay, sorry about that. I hope that there's no technical problem. But 14 cities is actually worsen for the seller condition, and only 4 cities that has an improving in seller worsening. Okay, what are those? Let's look at in detail. We're talking about Tempe and Green Creek are the two declining fastest. Apparently, the Tempe declining is about 15%, and Green Creek is about 11% negative, okay, meaning that the seller is less favorable. And then all other city, Maricopa, Gilbert, Chandler, Scottsdale, everything like 14 cities that decrease. Only couple of the cities, 4 cities, have a positive increase. Okay, so now I have to be warning that even though the cities as like even though it's worsened for the seller, a lot of cities are still in the seller's market. Okay, if it is, look at this, if it is above 110, those are the cities we talk about: Mesa, Chandler, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, Patton Hills, Cape Creek, and Carefree. Right, they're still in the seller's market, even though it's less favorable to the seller. Okay, Maricopa, on the flip side, Maricopa and Buckeye are a strong buyer market than ever. It's only about 70 points and 85 points for Buckeye. Okay, what does that mean? Buyers are gaining leverage in most part of the valley, especially the outer edge, Maricopa, Buckeye, Green Creek, right? Those are the cities that already in the buyer's market for a long time. It doesn't mean that the buyer doesn't have any negotiation power in the cities, right? Because even though they are in the seller's market here, is actually less and less and less favorable to the seller. So expecting if nothing change in the market for the next couple months, okay, the market could become the buyer market, in which all the cities gonna have the buyers favorable to the buyers, assuming right there's nothing change in the market. Inventory. Okay, so let's talk about inventory. Okay, so in here, one thing that we can take away from the inventory is it's going up, and it's going up fast. Okay, if you forget everything I say in today episode, you can just remember inventory, number of houses on the market available going up very fast. Okay, we started the year 2025 with only 25,000 listing around week number 1. Okay, now just after 11 week, we approaching 25,000. Okay, some of you may say, okay, 25,000, what does that mean? If you compare to previous year, okay, 2024, we actually dropped 800 new listing. 2023, we actually drop 1,800 listing. 2022, 2,500 listing. Okay, so in early of the year, in regular year, we have a number of listing actually drop rather than increase. This year alone, we already increased 5,000 listing. So that means the buyer has more choice. The buyer has more choice. And that also means the seller has more competition. Again, another signal indicator, if this continues, the seller will need to lower the price or offer a very good incentive just to stay in the game. Otherwise, you will not be able to sell. Okay? Price are holding. Okay, we're talking about foreclosure. We talk about market condition. We talk about inventory. Now let's talk about prices. Okay, so even though now here's a fact. Okay, even with more inventory and softer demand, closed sale prices are still climbing slightly. Okay, so it's go up, but it's go up very small. But don't let that fool you, okay? Price decline follow a slow, predictable pattern. Active listing prices fall first. Okay, we're seeing that actually now. Okay, then under contract price is softened, and then finally the closed sale price. So what does that mean? Okay, this and what does that mean? What I mean is that even though if you look at the market right now and you see the price going up a little bit, okay, don't make it because those are the closed sales already. Those are the houses that already under contract, like 30 days ago or 45 days ago, or maybe they started listing 2 or 3 months ago already. So the price is not yet adjusted for the whole process to, like moving from the asking price to the asking price. It can take months, couple months. And while we're not there yet, right, it's coming unless that's the demand, unless the demand is increased significantly or some reason inventory drops up. And I expect the main factor that help with that process, with that prediction, is interest rate. If the interest rate doesn't get lower, everything's gonna be the same as of right now. Okay. So next, what about builder? Okay. Home builder had a strong run, but they are now feeling squeezed. Why? We have elevated inventory, forcing them to give more incentive. So if you go buy houses in builder right now, they actually offer not only 3%, 4%, but some places like 5%, 6%, even some area, they also offer additional upfront incentive as well. Normally, the incentive only received at the end of the contract, but now it could go upfront also. And despite the spring season, buyer traffic is lower than expected, as we already see. It's impacting the resale market. It's also impacting the builder. This is actually another great window opportunity for the buyer interest in new construction and resale as well, right? Rate buy down, closing cost coverage, or design upgrades. They are back on the table. Everything is negotiable, even washer, dryer, everything, right? So make sure that you negotiate in today's market. All right, so we're talking about a lower rate. Okay, will the lower rate change the game? Okay, so the current rate is around 7%. Okay, a significant drop in interest rate could flip the market quickly, 100%. Because lower the rate means more affordabilities. That means more buyer competition, right? That means more buyers going to consume all the inventory, and therefore we don't have the problem with inventory anymore. But here's a fact, right? Until then, the market remains tidal toward the buyers as of today, with the sellers having to adapt, giving the concession, reduce the price. Okay, seasonally, we are in the strongest months of the year, but the trend holds. We could see price adjustment ramp up in Q3. All right, so we're going to continue watching that and make sure that we give you an update as soon as possible on the change of the market. But thank you so much for everyone. I just want to give you a conclusion of today's talk. Okay, buyers, now is the time. Okay, leverage the extra inventory, negotiate, compare builder incentive, and be patient. Okay, but ready. Okay, because why? You cannot if you feel like the market is going to drop. Okay, this is actually the time that you can reach that number sooner than later, because you can negotiate. Okay, you don't want to wait for the market to drop and then there's more competition back in the game, and you may not have the high. That, in other words, you're already late in the game if that happens. Okay, for seller, price aggressively. Okay, clean and stage your home if possible. Act sooner rather than later, especially before Q3, because I'm expecting Q3 we're gonna see. Oh, it's gonna be a market that we have to see what's going on, because it's a slower market even now. Okay, investors, keep watching for inventory and foreclosure number. The best deal may still be 3 or 6 months away. All right, so even though the foreclosure number is not so high, you still not lost anything yet. Still negotiate to get the best deal, and still waiting for another set of foreclosure. All right, another conclusion I want to draw is that just want to make sure everyone understand, even though everything new inventory prices go down, it's not crashing. The Arizona market is not crashing. We're just backing back to the balance. Okay, and I absolutely come back here every week and hear another market update. I'm more than happy to share with you the most recent update every week. All right, thank you everyone. Bye bye.